We are a storytelling species. From time immemorial, stories have been passed down from one generation to the other, not just through the spoken and written word, but also through paintings. The ability and longing to make images is a uniquely human trait. As we have transitioned from early man to Homo sapiens to Generation Z, we have given expression to this artistic impulse. Art in the form of painting is the ultimate expression of human creativity that is deeply influenced by the philosophy and culture of the corresponding historical epoch. No society has lived without some form of art. In our presentation, we will first talk about how art has evolved through various eras and then share with you how art permeates all dimensions of school life here at Welland. Let's see how it all began. The history of painting goes back to prehistoric times and spans all cultures. Did you know that the oldest human imprints, consisting of hand stencils and simple geometric shapes, were made on walls and ceilings of caves and are about 50,000 years old?
On the other hand, the oldest undisputed examples of figurative cave painting are somewhat younger, about 35,000 years old.
Cave paintings have been found all over the world. In India, the earliest paintings have been found in places like the rock shelters of Bhimbetka.
As civilizations developed in ancient Egypt, Greece, Mesopotamia, Rome, China, India, and other places, the art of painting evolved too.
Ancient Egypt was a civilization with very strong traditions of architecture and sculpture.
It had many mural paintings in temples and buildings, and painted illustrations on papyrus manuscripts.
Ancient Greece had skilled painters, and the painting on ceramic pots and vases of this time gives a particularly informative glimpse into the way society functioned.
But with the emergence of city-states like Crete, mural paintings appeared.
As cities flourished, palaces and large buildings were built, and the walls were painted in a figurative style, mixed with geometric designs and people involved in various activities.
Around the 11th century BC, paintings became more realistic, having developed a more natural and idealistic human body model.
Today, the surviving Roman paintings include wall paintings and frescoes. After the Roman Empire collapsed, there was a period of artistic backwardness.
The paintings were now based on religious themes and clearly exhibited Oriental and Egyptian influence.
The rise of Christianity imparted a different spirit and aim to painting styles.
Towards the middle of the 13th century, churches were built with more windows, and the use of colourful stained glass became a staple in decoration. One of the most famous examples of this is found in the Cathedral of Notre Dame in Paris.
The Renaissance paintings reflect the impact of the revolution of ideas and science that occurred in this period, the invention of the printing press and the Reformation.
Moreover, with the development of easel painting, painting finally gained independence from architecture.
At the same time, the new medium of oil painting allowed the painters to create richer colors and deeper intense tones.
Secular subject matter slowly returned to Western painting, and artists included visions of the world around them and the product of their own imagination in their paintings.
Baroque painting is characterized by great drama, rich, deep color, and intense light and dark shadows. It was meant to evoke emotion and passion instead of the calm rationality that had been prized during the Renaissance.
By the mid-19th century, the idea art for art's sake began to find expression in the work of painters like Francisco de Goya and John Constable.
It was partly a reaction to the Industrial Revolution and the scientific rationalization of nature.
Some major Romantic painters of this period are Eugene Delacroix, J.M.W. Turner, and Caspar David Friedrich. Let us take you on a short sojourn into the land of artists and art movements through a visit to an art gallery by two of our girls.
Leonardo da Vinci was a creative mind who changed the world's perception of art.
Kushya, one of his paintings, the Mona Lisa, is being exhibited here. Let's go take a look. It seems so realistic. Her gaze seems to be following me from all angles.
That, Krisha, is Leonardo's unique style of painting. He created the technique of fumato, in which tones and colors gradually merge to create a haze on the canvas. In fact, this technique is known as Leonardo's smoke. This, accompanied by chiaroscuro, provided a three-dimensional effect to his paintings. Well, I wonder why the Mona Lisa is the only painting that is talked about when one mentions Leonardo da Vinci. Have they not seen Salvator Mundi?
I know, right? It was sold at a whopping amount of $450.3 million in 2017.
Yes, they say that the painting is the male counterpart of the Mona Lisa. I also read in the pamphlet of the museum that this painting was recently recovered from Naples.
Yes, don't you know? In January of 2021, the police found it stashed in a bedroom cupboard. See, that is the modern art section. I have always been intrigued by modern art, which includes artistic work roughly from the 1860s to the 1970s. Let's go and explore that part of the gallery.
Hi girls, I saw you looking at these famous artworks. Would you like to know more about them? Let me introduce you to some important modern art movements. See, the Realist movement in French art was an accurate, detailed, unembellished depiction of nature and contemporary life. The Realists attempted to portray the appearances, problems, and customs of the middle and lower classes. Gustave Courbet and Edouard Manet are few of the most prominent realist painters. Girls, do you know that in the 19th century there were artists who created their pictures with freely brushed colors that took precedence over lines and contours? They typically painted scenes of modern life and often painted outdoors. These were the Impressionists. In the 1880s, Post-Impressionism began as a reaction against Impressionism. It was a predominantly French art movement in which artists used vivid colors with thick paint strokes and emphasized on real subject matter, but they were more inclined towards geometric figures. Expressionist art tried to convey emotion and meaning rather than reality. It was a predominantly French art movement in which artists used vivid colors with thick paint strokes. Edvard Munch and Franz Marc are the most famous names associated with this movement. Oh, here we are at my favorite section. Cubism paved the way for many different modern art movements in the 20th century. The composition of work made during this movement is created with shapes and forms in an abstract way. It is characterized by a fragmentary appearance of multiple viewpoints and overlapping planes using bright colors. Juan Gris, Pablo Picasso, and Georges Braque are associated with this movement. Constructivism was the last and most influential modern art movement to flourish in Russia in the 20th century. It evolved just as the Bolsheviks came to power in the October Revolution of 1917.
I have heard that even the Surrealists followed the communist ideology.
Yes, Kusha, you're right. After World War I, dark themes dominated. Surrealists painted realistic objects in unrealistic situations to confuse the viewers. These artworks often included dreamlike settings and disturbing visuals. Let's have a look at some of these paintings.
Look at the interesting choice of elements in this painting. There are women with drawers attached to their bodies and a giraffe burning in the background.
Yes, the element of juxtaposition is widely used by the Surrealists. The burning giraffe is an element of foreshadowing with reference to the Second World War in Europe.
Oh, that's interesting. This painting does justice to the name of the movement. I have also heard that Surrealists were deeply influenced by Freud's idea of the subconscious mind.
Yes, painters like Salvador Dali are famous for adopting the paranoid critical method through which they would induce hallucinations upon themselves to derive inspirations for their paintings.
That is interesting. Let's go see that painting. There seems to be a huge crowd around it.
Yes, sure.
Wow, these works by Frida Kahlo touch upon the various themes of post-colonialism and gender.
You know, Kusha, Frida Kahlo was a Mexican painter. Many of her works are self-portraits that symbolically express her own pain.
Pop art was the art world's response to the rise of entertainment, television, and games. There were so many ways to pass time in this new society that art faced fierce competition, and it reacted by imitating the conventions of popular culture.
wonder if all these artists are wired differently than us.
You know, Kusha, in fact, that is true of all creative thinkers. Earlier, this was just a popular assumption, but now we actually have neurological proof for it. According to a study published in Neuroimage, researchers believe that artists have brains that are structurally different from non-artists. Studies also show that artists have a heightened awareness of their surroundings, which seems to have a deep influence on the way they conceive space. An artistic personality appreciates beauty, unstructured activities, and diversity.
Do you know, Indian art is also a very exciting area to explore.
Is it? I really don't know much about it.
Indian artists often worked in guilds called Shrenis and were not celebrated as individuals with a signature style and an idiosyncratic creative flair, as we often find in the West.
I also read somewhere that Indian art gives a lot of importance to its viewers.
Yes, it's true. In the early Indian aesthetic theory, it was the viewer, not the artist, who was the vital component in creating the work of art. Oh, that reminds me of the exemplary artwork by Indian artists based on Indian mythology.
Yes, I'm a huge fan of Raja Ravi Verma's work. Did you know that he is said to be the first artist to use oil paints?
Yes, he was also the first one to fuse European academic techniques with Indian sensibilities. He focused on the detailing, the play of light and shadows, and adding depth by using perspective in his paintings.
His religious depictions of Hindu deities and works from Hindu mythology have harnessed accessibility of Indian culture to the general public. Let's have a look at some of his paintings.
Yes, I recognize this painting. It is the Begum's Bath by Raja Ravi Verma. It was sold in 1997 and set a record price for all Indian artists. Now, let's look at the works of other renowned Indian artists.
Jamini Roy, Abanindranath Tagore,
Amrita Sher Gill, and Bikash Bhattacharjee.
As we have already seen, art is ever evolving. But the question looms, what does art look like in the approaching future?
For eternity, art has been influenced by the cultural and political environment. This will continue to hold true as future events that now remain uncertain begin to define the work of upcoming artists.
Yes, Kusha, I completely agree with you. As society moves towards being more accepting, we hope to see the art world become more inclusive as well. More works from artists of color and female creators will surface in mainstream media. Issues like climate change and human rights will also be recurring themes in future work.
And as art becomes more fluid and the boundaries between various media blend, the definition of art in the traditional sense will eventually become redundant.
Art is moving to become more experiential as media like virtual reality and augmented reality come into play. Let us explore some more ways technology is advancing art in today's world.
Microad. The art at a distance looks like fireflies dancing in the dusk. But on closer inspection, those fireflies are actually 16,000 drones packed with LED lights set against the backdrop of Mount Fuji in Japan. Jia Liu. Jia Liu blends art and technology in a mind-bending way. Her Magic Forest installation brings nature and sunlight into a dreary Shanghai metro station. The result is a multi-sensory experience in which it seems as if beams of light are peeking through clouds on a gloomy day.
As physical viewing spaces become more and more redundant, social media has become a popular platform for both emerging artists and established ones to exhibit their work. It also enables artists to reach a wider audience even in the most distant corners of the world.
Conducting an online painting exhibition for digital artworks involves risks of forgery and replication. The answer to this is NFTs, or non-fungible tokens, which provide a unique digital signature that defines the ownership of the assets. NFTs are trustworthy and maintain ownership rights of the artworks.
Art pervades every aspect of life at Welland. Here at school, students pursue art both as a subject and a co-curricular activity.
Art and Welland have always been synonymous with one another.
It is the creative thread that ties together the multiple disciplines we pursue at school. So let's explore Welland through the lens of art.
The Welland calendar, which serves as a collection of artwork from the student body, marks the beginning of the school year.
As students carry their brand new books from the activity center to the academic block, the first artistic challenge awaits. The excitement of what is fondly named the chart competition spreads through the entire school as students from B2s to SCs come together to decorate the class boards.
This excitement follows the student body into the month of April, when the Golden Jubilee basketball tournament is right around the corner. Regardless of their chosen sports, everyone pitches in to create posters and banners for this tournament that is welcomed with great zeal.
While preparing for inter-house competitions, it is all hands on deck and the campus is bustling with energy.
As students and teachers put together costumes, props, and decide on makeup looks.
Students create brochures for their respective houses.
Making unique birthday cards is almost second nature to a Wellamite, be it for a batchmate, teacher,
or for Welland itself.
School events like Teachers' Day and Farewell are the ones that we hold very close to our hearts. These decorations are a reflection of this love.
Founders is arguably a Wellamite's favorite time of the year, as editorial boards of all the school publications, ranging from the Chrysalis and the News and Views
to the Techie and the Thrift, begin to design the layouts for the respective magazines. We get to see a wide array of engaging content.
The Wall is a school publication that merges the boundaries between art and the written word.
The News and Views has featured student-made illustrations since 1964.
These illustrations bring out the essence of a typical day in the life of a Wellamite.
The Founders' Day invitations feature student artwork as well.
Around this time, art students can be spotted all around campus,
running helter-skelter, trying to put together their pieces for the art exhibition.
This is always one of the main attractions for all the guests.
The exhibitions feature student artwork
and pottery.
Be it the art stalls whose proceeds go to charity,
or the photography exhibitions students put up individually. Art plays an integral role in the founders' proceedings.
But what catches everyone's eye is the installation
that the art department puts together in the Nasreen Garden.
The 60th Founders' Day displayed the Navras, or the 9 emotions, through art.
As you can see in the picture, lighting was used to bring out the full essence of the artwork during the celebrations.
The Welland campus is surrounded by art, be it the murals that adorn the auditorium walls,
or the wall art that accompanies us through the subway from the number 12 campus to the number 6 campus.
Art meets environmental science during Wildlife Week. During this week, Students are challenged to design outfits using waste materials.
The students have created wall art at the ONGC building,
Worked with underprivileged children,
visited historical sites,
gone on educational art trips. Miss Vasundhara Sangwan, an ex-Velamite who has worked at the National Museum, took the students of our school on a trip so that they could explore art and its history.
Our students had also gone for an insightful summer program to Arts University Bournemouth, UK.
Another trip that our students have taken was to Italy, where they familiarized themselves with art in the Renaissance period.
Velamites visited the Met Museum, New York, the largest art museum in the United States, and were fascinated by its vast collection of artworks divided among 17 curatorial departments.
On an art tour, our students visited the Church of the Savior on Spilt Blood, which is a former 5-domed Russian Orthodox church in St. Petersburg, Russia, which currently functions as a secular museum. They admired its interiors, which are decorated with 7,000 square meters of mosaic.
A special interdisciplinary art and environmental science trip was organized for the students, where they visited the Ahmedabad Gufa in Gujarat, which is an underground art gallery in Ahmedabad, India. Designed by the architect Balkrishna Vittal Das Doshi, it exhibits works of the Indian artist Maqbool Fida Hussain. Moreover, the school organizes art and design workshops and seminars to teach the students new techniques.
Exchange students who have visited our school have always enjoyed the time they spent learning traditional art techniques.
Eminent artists like Mr. M.F. Hussain and Mr. R.K. Lakshman have also visited our campus and given us a glimpse into their areas of expertise while interacting with the students.
Ex-Velamites have contributed greatly to the art culture at school.
Padma Shri Laila Tyabji, founder of Dastkar, an NGO, has helped create new employment avenues for marginalized rural communities while keeping the spirit of traditional crafts alive.
Time of distress and isolation, it is the tangible and intangible parts of our creative heritage we turn to for support. How often we turn to our shelves of screens in search of the music, art, architecture, literature and dance that will transport us into other worlds, bringing comfort and joy. How often we use a beautiful object that tells the story of the past and is also a continuing part of our present and future. We need to nurture these wonderful artists and craftspeople who create these objects, people whose skills give us things that are both functional and tactile to touch and feel and exquisite to the eye. Today, craftspeople are in distress, without markets or orders, falling outside the safety net of regular salaries and insurance or government relief schemes. They need your help.
Ms. Mrinalini Mukherjee was a renowned artist whose work has even been featured at the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York City.
Miss Neena Das, a student of the batch of 1981, has created multiple artworks encapsulating the essence of Vellum.
of Meena Das's artwork adorn the principal secretariat. Miss Anjali Sapra practices art professionally.
These names are only the start of the list. There are a number of Vellamites who have pursued various artistic fields such as painting, visual arts, digital art, sculpting, illustration, and many more.
Hi Vellamites, it's such a pleasure to reach out to you today. For as long as I can remember, my life has been all about color. At school, I was good at studies, but I also enjoyed participating in every aspect of school life. Music and dance, plays, debates, I was part of it all. But my happiest moments were spent in the art room, and I found every excuse to be there. The road to my career as an artist has been a somewhat long and winding one, since at that time, fine art was not considered an option as a career. There's been a lot of hard work, a lot of challenges, but it's been really worth it. For the last almost 20 years, I've been exhibiting in shows in India and overseas. I've done extensive hotel projects, and I've also got buyers all over the world. So what do I really want to say to you today? My message to you today is this: dare to dream and pursue your passion. It's going to be a lot of hard work, but even if you work 24/7, you're not going to realize it because you're doing something you love. It's going to be enriching, energizing, exhilarating, even exhausting, but ultimately really soul satisfying. So just go out there, do it. If you can dream it, you can live it.
We hope you enjoyed this journey as we traced the evolution of art through the ages and took a quick glimpse at how art is intertwined into the very fabric of life at Welland.